The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
It goes all my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. And all my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. Seasons spinning round again, the years keep rolling by.
Here's the king of the jungle. Now, some of you have an idea who the king of the jungle might be. You might say, oh, maybe it's a lion or a tiger. Well, I heard a different story. You see, once there was a tiny little frog sitting on a lily pad in a pond in the middle of the jungle. He was eating flies. They were delicious. He loved flies. Oh, he felt like he was a king eating those flies. They were delicious. Now, little did he know that there was a hungry tiger lurking around. He had been looking for something to eat all morning and he hadn't found anything. I'm so hungry, said the tiger. There's a pond. I'll go drink some water. That'll be good. Good water. Then he saw the little frog. You're gonna be my lunch. The little frog panicked. Me? You can't eat me. Why can't I eat you? Said the tiger. He had to think quickly. You can't eat me because I'm the king of the jungle. Said the tiger. You a puny little frog, the king of the jungle. Don't make me laugh. But I am the king of the jungle and I can prove it. Let's have a contest, okay? If I win, then I'm the king of the jungle, okay? Yeah? What kind of contest you want to have? Can we have a jumping contest? Oh yeah, I'm a good jumper and I'm gonna go first. I'll show you how it's done, son. The tiger got ready to jump. But little did he know that the little frog hopped right behind him and held on to his tail. Not only that, while he was there, he took a little piece of tiger fur. He didn't even feel it, and he stuck it in his cheek. Now, the tiger took a mighty leap. See, that's how it's done. But since the little frog was right on his tail, he just hopped over his head. I win, I'm the king of the jungle. Wait a minute. Let's do over. Come on. No, I win. No, come on, let's have another contest. Okay, we can have another contest and that'll prove that I'm the king of the jungle, said the frog. Let's have a spitting contest. Spitting? That's disgusting, said the tiger. My mommy told me never to spit in public. Well, then I win. Okay, we'll have a spitting contest just this once, okay? And I go first. Well, the tiger had a dry mouth. He hadn't eaten anything. He tried, but it didn't go very far. Patooey! Not very far. Now it was the frog's turn. And his mouth was full of saliva from eating all of those flies. Plus, remember, he had the piece of tiger fur in his cheek. So he was ready to spit. Out flew the tiger fur. And the tiger said, Hey, what's that? Oh, that's just a little piece from a tiger I ate this morning for breakfast. Hey, you eat tigers? Yes, I told you. I'm the king of the jungle. I mean, you eat tigers. Yes, and you know what? It's almost time for lunch. I'm getting hungry. That tiger said, oh yeah, well I'll see ya. And he ran so fast, he disappeared in an instant. And they never saw the tiger back in the jungle again. The little frog, he hopped back to his pond, went to the lily pad and continued eating flies. And he was the king of the jungle.
know the story of the three bears.
Yes.
So instead of telling you the story of the three bears, that was perfect. Instead of telling you the story of the three bears, what we'll do is we'll tell you the story of the three pears.
Well, there was,
Papa Pear,
and there was Mama Pear,
and she was, of course, the boss.
and there was wee baby bite-sized pear.
This is right down your aisle, Kate. I love it. So now, at the beginning of the story, Mama Pear was making breakfast for the family. And because you're familiar with the story, you know that she was making...
Porridge.
Right, except that in this case it was parage.
And Baby Pear was hungry. Baby Pear loved Mama Pear's porridge, and so Baby Pear climbed up on the table, and he started to roll over the table toward the porridge at the other side.
But Mama Pear knew that was a disaster in waiting, so she said, "Baby Pear, be careful, that porridge is very hot, you're going to poach yourself again."
Now, Baby Pear was like a toddler, was always getting into things, and he was having accidents. Mama and Papa Pear had to call the paramedics nearly every single day.
So Mama Pear said, "Just stop." She proposed that they go for a little wobble out in the orchard. Well, the three of them left the house and they went for their wobble. But while they were gone, someone else came along, and because you know the story, you know that it was...
Goldilocks.
Right, except that in this case it was Golden Delicious.
Golden delicious.
Yes. And Golden Delicious smelled the aroma of the porridge on the breeze, and she said, "Oh, this must be paradise."
She was not a bad apple, she was just a little saucy.
And so she pushed open the door, and she went straight in.
And the first thing she saw,
Was the porridge on the table. She tasted the porridge in the great big bowl.
but it was too hot.
And then she tried the porridge in the middle-sized bowl.
And it was too cold.
And then she tried the porridge in the tiniest bowl.
And it was just right.
Yes, she's groaning. You're groaning.
Perfect.
You're
Well,
groaning.
the microphone's up to get that.
And then she decided to sit down. She sat down in the great big chair.
But it was too hard.
And then she sat down in the middle-sized chair.
But it was too soft.
And then she sat down in the tiniest chair.
And it was, say it with us,
Just right.
Good.
But Golden Delicious was one juicy apple, and Baby Bite-Sized Pear was tiny. The chair was very small, and it just couldn't hold her. And before long, Golden Delicious smashed that chair to pits. And now, she was really good down to her core, so she wanted to repair the chair. So she looked around the house for some plaster of Paris.
But that was a fruitless search.
So exhausted from her efforts, Golden Delicious went upstairs to look for a bed to rest in.
She didn't find a bed. She found a pear tree.
So she tested the great big branch,
But it was too hard.
and she went up to the middle-sized branch,
But it was too soft.
and then she went up to the topmost branch.
And it was
Just right. So Golden Delicious curled up with Baby Pear's stuffed partridge, or stuffed partridge, and went to sleep for the night.
Now, no sooner had she gone to sleep up there than the three pears came home from their wobble. But when they got home, very good, kid. I like that wobble. That was good. So when they got home from the wobble, they saw that the front door was open.
And Mama Pear was very upset. "Oh, heavens preserve us! The door's ajar!"
Papa Pear said, "Oh, honey, you're just being paranoid again." And they went inside.
They were quite a pair.
They were, in fact, and they looked at the bowls of porridge. And Papa Pear said,
"Someone's been eating my porridge."
and Mama Pear said, "Someone's been eating my porridge."
And Baby Pear said, "Someone's been eating my porridge, and now it's eaten all up."
And then they went and looked at the chairs.
"Someone's been sitting in my chair."
And someone's been sitting in my chair.
"Someone's been sitting in my chair, and now it's smashed to pits."
And then they went upstairs and they looked in the tree.
"Someone's been sleeping on my branch."
And someone's been sleeping on my branch.
"Someone's been sleeping on my branch." And there she
So they
is!
reached up to pluck Golden Delicious from the tree.
But Golden Delicious dropped from the tree, rolled out of the room, down the stairs, and out of the house.
Now, if this was the story of the three bears, that would be the end of the story. But this is not the story of the three bears. This is the story of the three
Pears.
Right. So the next morning, Golden Delicious woke up at home and she remembered that delicious porridge.
It was unparalleled.
She really wanted to have some more.
Nothing compared to it.
So she went back to the house of the three pears. She had breakfast with them. They were there this time. And after breakfast, she stayed and she played with Baby Bite-Sized Pear.
And it so happened that on that day, Baby Bite-Sized Pear had no accidents.
So the next day she came again and she had breakfast with the family and she played with Baby Bite-Sized Pear.
And once again, Baby Bite-Sized Pear had no accidents.
So she came there every single day. She had breakfast and she played with Baby Bite-Sized Pear, and Baby Bite-Sized Pear was fine, and so the decision was made that Golden Delicious should become Baby Bite-Sized Pear's
au pair.
pair.
And so the family never had to call the paramedics again.
All of which goes to show you that
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Oh!
So here's a folktale from Kenya, the tale of the Lanani beast. Once, a young man fell madly in love with a beautiful girl. And every day he would go to her house and beg her to marry him. Now, she wouldn't say yes, and she wouldn't say no. She would say something like, you know, a nice drink of coconut water would be nice. Some fresh coconut water, I would love that. And the young man would jump up. You want coconut water? I'll get you coconut water. He would run to the coconut grove, climb a tree, slice off a coconut, run to her, slice off the top of the coconut, and give it to her. Here, coconut water. The next day he would come back, and he would say, would you marry me, please? She wouldn't say yes, and she wouldn't say no. Something like, you know, I'm kind of hungry for some fresh fish. Fresh fish for dinner would be nice. You want fresh fish? I'll get you fresh fish. And he would race to the stream and spear a few fish, bring them to her, and lay them in front of her. But she still would not agree to marry him. He could give her anything that she wanted, anything that she asked for, he would provide. But she would not agree to marry him. One day he asked, isn't there anything that I can bring you that would persuade you to marry me? She got this faraway look in her eye, and she said, there is one thing, but I don't think you could ever bring it. The tale of a Lanani beast. I hear that they're so beautiful, so smooth, and so fun to have. How famous would I be if I had such a tale? The young man gulped and said, you know, the Lanani beast lived deep in the forest. And you know, the Lanani beast crunched human bones for dinner. I know, she said. But if a man brought me such a tale, he would have to be very brave, and I would have to marry him. The young man was inspired. So he decided to go and get a tale of the Lanani beast. He went home and he sharpened his knife, and he set out to the forest. Now, the Lanani beast lived in a grove deep in the forest, and they slept all day long. At dusk, they would wake up and go looking for bones to crush for supper, preferably human bones. Now, they had learned through the time that humans coveted their tails. So they developed a strange sleeping habit. While they were sleeping, they would open and close their eyes. And they were asleep all the time. And they would mutter under their breaths. Well, when their eyes were open, they would say, I'm awake. When their eyes were closed, they would say, I'm asleep. I'm awake. I'm asleep. But they were asleep all the time. The young man approached the grove, and the Lanani beast was sleeping all over each other on mounds and the ground, and they appeared to be asleep. But when he got close, he saw that they were opening and closing their eyes and saying, I'm asleep, I'm awake, I'm asleep, I'm awake, I'm asleep, I'm awake. He said, oh no. They wake up every few seconds. How can I sneak up and cut off a tail? So he sat down to observe for a while. And he noticed that when they said, I'm awake, they didn't look around. And when they opened their eyes, they were still breathing heavily as if they were asleep. I think they're asleep all the time, even when they open their eyes. He needed to have that tail. So he took a risk. He got closer and closer, and he stepped over the first Lanani beast. I'm asleep, I'm awake, I'm asleep, I'm awake. He didn't move at all. They're all asleep. They are asleep. And he went around, tiptoed, to look for the perfect, the most beautiful tail to bring to his girlfriend. And there he saw it. It was the tail of the chief of the Lanani beast. It was so long and silky. And he took out his knife and with one slash, cut it right off. That knife was so sharp, the beast didn't move at all. Kept on sleeping. I'm asleep. I'm awake. I'm asleep. Ouch. I'm awake. I'm asleep. I'm awake. The young man took the tail and he tiptoed over the sleeping beast and he began to run. Now she will marry me. Now she will be mine. She will be mine tonight. But it was a long way to get back to the village. And night began to fall. In the meantime, the Lanani beast began to wake up. Oh, wake up, Lanani beast! It's time to go find some bones to crush. They yawned and they got up, and the beast that was lying next to the chief touched the ground, and he felt something sticky and wet. It was the blood from the chief's tail. But he began to laugh. The chief has wet his bed! The chief has wet his bed! The chief stood up and he scowled. What? What is my tail? This is blood. Someone has cut off my tail. Only a human would do something like this. Whoever that man is, today he becomes my enemy. And the beast began to lurk around and search the grove, and they saw the trail of blood leading to the forest. I will go fetch my tail and bring back dinner, said the chief. And he tied some straw grass into a magic knot, and he waved it, and he began to chant. You who became my enemy today, you who became my enemy today, no matter where you are, no matter where you hide, I will find you. Speak to me. And the magic knot drove out the young man's voice as he was running. He couldn't help it. It just came out. I, he heard himself saying, I who cut off your tail today? I who cut off your tail today? I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. The woman made me do it. And he ran and he ran. The chief stomped down the path and he got closer and closer. And every now and then he would stop and wave the magic knot. And he would say, you who became my enemy today, you who became my enemy today, no matter where you go, no matter where you hide, I will find you. Speak to me. And the young man's voice came out. I who became your enemy today. I who became your enemy today. I cut off your tail. Oh, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't mean to do it. The woman made me do it. And he ran and he ran. And he reached his village. And he ran right to the girl's house. And he said, here's the Lanani tail. And she said, oh, a Lanani tail. Wonderful. Now, will you marry me? Yes, how brave you must be. I will marry you. Well, hide me. The Lanani is after me. And she put some mats over him, and he could not be seen. The Lanani beast approached the village, and he saw the houses. He must be in one of these houses. He waved his magic knot. You who became my enemy today, you who became my enemy today, no matter where you go, no matter where you hide, I will find you. Speak to me. And from under the mats, the young man's voice came out. I who became your enemy today, I who became your enemy today, I cut off your tail, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't mean to do it. The woman made me do it. And the chief followed the voice to the house. And he burst into the house, and there was the girl sitting holding his tail. The young man could not be seen. So he waved his knot. You who became my enemy today, you who became my enemy today, no matter where you go, no matter where you hide, I will find you. Speak to me. And from under the mask, the young man's voice came out. He covered his mouth with both hands, but he couldn't help it. I became your enemy today. I became your enemy today. I couldn't tell. And he leaped from under the message and he begged the Lanani leaf. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't want to do it. The woman made me do it. And the chief looked at the girl holding his tail. He said, the woman made you do it. And he grabbed his tail from the girl and says, but the man is responsible for his own actions. And he took the young man and he threw them across his back and he walked out of the house, out of the village, and into the forest, and that young man was never seen again. Now in that village, they tell the young girls, if you love a young man, don't ask him to do impossible things. Don't do that. And to the young man they say, if you love a young girl, no matter what she says, no matter what she asks, remember, the man is responsible for his own actions. My story.
One thing that we do is that we do rap music versions of stories, and Tortoise and the Hare is one of the stories that I pulled my drum out here in case you couldn't see it on the camera, but it sits down below where you're going to see it, so you're just going to see me moving my arms. But so this is the Tortoise and the Hare, and
the thing that we usually talk about when we do a rap story is the tradition of rap music, hip hop, where it came from. We think of, like nowadays, we think of it as a modern version of ancient forms of storytelling, because if you trace the roots of rap, which we've done, modern rap as we think about it now starts in the Bronx of New York, where it was a music and an art of social protest. Things are wrong, things are unfair, and we are going to use this art form to express it. And so a lot of marginalized communities take on with it because it's a way of artfully making statements, but it's spread from the Bronx and it's gone, and obviously it's a worldwide transnational art form. But if you trace the roots from the Bronx, those verbal and musical forms were influenced by oral storytelling forms from Jamaica, probably from Trinidad, and they were also influenced by forms from Western Africa, where traditional stories are told in rhyme to rhythmic beats. So we see it as a modern form of ancient storytelling traditions as well. So we like to give that background. Anyway, so got to give credit to the people who developed it, African American communities. So yeah.
All right, so you already know what story we're going to do, which doesn't matter because you'll see how we twist it as we go through it.
Do I start this one?
You start this one. Oh, we didn't practice this one because we didn't know we were going to do it, so if we mess it up, there you go.
This is live.
That's right. This is
It's
live.
But the other thing that it is it's coming out of our conversation, and we like to jump in and, this story came up, and let's just go with it.
It's a long time ago in a faraway place.
So, long time ago in a faraway place, two famous creatures decided to race.
One was the tortoise.
He was the green one.
The other was the hare.
And he was the mean one.
When Hare saw Tortoise walking from the east to the west, Hare would say,
"Are you still walking, or did you stop for a rest?"
Tortoise liked to make egg soufflés from scratch, Hare would say.
"Will you be done before the eggies hatch?"
See, Tortoise liked to take things easy and slow, but Hare was always on the go, go, go.
Tortoise admired views. He would smell the flowers. He would read. He would paint and meditate for hours. Tortoise baked his bread and he made his own clothes.
But Hare had no time for activities like those. He liked life in the fast lane on the jump, no doubt. He used a laundry service, went to the gym, and ate out.
And in between his meetings, Hare managed to find a minute to make fun of the green shell and the tortoise that was in it.
Hare's insults were sharp. He was always attacking.
"You're a slug. You're a sloth. You're the sultan of slack and tortoise. You are slower than a snail stuck in and slime. Yo, you are the king of wasting time.
Now, the tortoise's shell was thick, but the hair was on his case. He'd had about enough. Hair, it's time for a race.
So the day for the race between our heroes was set.
Hair said,
That's a day Tortoise will regret.
On your mark, get ready, get set, and go.
Hair zipped away.
Tortoise went with the flow.
Hair looked around. He was ahead all right, so he sang a little song that was not so polite.
He sang, nya, 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 nya. You guys want to do that with us? Nya, 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 nya.
Oh, how are you ever gonna get any place? Moving as you do at Tortoise pace.
Yeah, moving as you do
at Tortoise pace.
Hair looked around. Tortoise was so far back, Hair said.
I can do some work. I got plenty of slack.
Hair slowed to a jog.
If this race don't beat all,
Pulled out his cell phone and made a conference call.
He was so caught up in talking that he went off the cement.
Then he had himself a little accident. He bumped into a tree, then he felt a bit ill, then he heard Tortoise catching up.
This is no time to chill.
Hair held on to his lead.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
So he sang the little song that was not so polite. He sang, nya, 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 nya.
I'll leave you in the dust without a trace. You'll go home in disgrace at Tortoise pace.
Go home in disgrace
At Tortoise pace.
Hair looked around. Tortoise was so far behind, Hair said.
Time for me to go online.
Hair pulled out a palm-sized computer apparatus. He surfed and tweeted and posted his status.
He was checking a chat room when he heard a little cough.
Tortoise passed him by.
Hair didn't even log off. He went hip hopping at a frightening speed, and in no time at all, he was back in the lead.
Hair was moving so fast he nearly took flight, so he sang the little song that was not so polite. He sang, nya, 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 nya.
Oh, you're wasting my time. You call this a race. You go home in disgrace at Tortoise pace.
You go home in disgrace at Tortoise pace. Hair passed a house. He noticed that inside there was a television on.
Well, his eyes opened
He
wide.
was locked in place in a couch potato stance. He was stuck in a TV trance.
He was still as a statue, eyes glued to the screen. His mouth hung to his knees. It was an ugly scene.
He would have sprouted some roots if it hadn't been for hearing all the spectators hooting and shouting and cheering.
Well, he looked up and was shocked to see
That the tortoise had won.
this can't be happening to me.
Hair took off in a
And
flash.
it was yesterday's news.
Tortoise won some gold medals and was giving interviews.
Hair's ears flopped down.
Then he had a cosmic shift.
I guess I'm not too swift.
Hair took Tortoise out to eat some bouillabaisse. Then he walked Tortoise home at Tortoise pace. Yeah, he walked Tortoise home at Tortoise pace.
After the race, Hare and Tortoise understood that many different paces make the world good.
So the next time somebody says you're too slow,
Or too young,
or too old,
or too high,
or too low,
tell them let others go at their own pace, and then everyone will win
in the human race.
It goes all my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. And all my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. Seasons stay